So films have played a big role in developing my mindset when I first started on this journey of discovering my masculinity and starting to fill the void of not having a father growing up. And I know many people also get inspiration from them. And by far, one of the most impactful films for me has been Fight Club. So the premise of the film is that men experience this purpose void today, this lack of direction, which we try and fill by pursuing very shallow endeavors, such as racking up material possessions or pursuing a meaningless career that we're not actually interested in. And we spend a lot of our time living inauthentically to our desires and being this lesser, more timid version of ourselves, which I really identify with in the movie, especially up until the age of 18, 19, before I started on this self-improvement journey. I felt like that person that really wasn't going after what I wanted and didn't have the assertiveness that maybe my dad would have instilled in me. Quite early on in the film, our main character encounters Tyler Durden on an airplane. And Tyler Durden is this cool, charismatic guy, very confident, stylish, and seems to know something that everybody else doesn't. And he appears to have found a way of breaking out of this mundane existence that men are living in today. He's got this soap company that he's running, and he seems to have always something to say and something that he's plotting, which makes him really interesting, gives him this aura of mystery at the same time. He's essentially everything our main character wishes to be. So if that's you, you're thinking, I really want to be that masculine guy. I want to be the person who imposes respect and lives life on my own terms and attracts the women that I want to attract. That's essentially Tyler's character in a nutshell. One of the biggest things I took away from the movie is the fear that we have to be who we really want to be. And Tyler addresses this directly. He says, people do it every day. They talk to themselves. They see themselves as they'd like to be. They don't have the courage you have to just run with it. He says this to our main character. If you're watching this, you probably want to be some version of the alpha male, someone who's physically and mentally strong, goes after what he wants and lives life on his own terms, someone who's essentially masculine. But maybe you're still afraid of your mother's opinions. Maybe the fear of her lashing out at you for wanting to be or act a certain way is holding you back from doing what you truly desire to do. Or maybe you're still too weak and passive and too much of a nice guy in your daily life. Maybe you're socially awkward, or you have addictions that are holding you back, such as porn and video games. So you have barriers in front of you that are stopping you from being that version of yourself. And I can definitely relate to this because a lot of the changes I made in my life when I set out on this journey have come with some level of anxiety and fear, because I knew that I would, for example, go against my mother's wishes in some regards. But I knew that it was an essential part of my growth journey. So that quote really speaks out to me from the film because I can relate to the anxiety that it brings on. And it definitely takes some bravery to actually make that leap to transition to who you want to transition when there's so much pressure to not do that. Another quote that stuck out to me is, we're a generation of men raised by women. I'm wondering if another woman is really the answer we need. You see, being raised by single mothers, you and I have predominantly experienced a female influence and have had very little exposure to male role models. So you've seen this in the home, but maybe you've also seen it in your education. In fact, the vast majority of teachers in schools these days are female. Maybe if you're already working, you've experienced this in your career where organizations around the world are predominantly pushing for women to be getting jobs, to be promoted, to be able to display that they're actually inclusive and that they have a diverse workforce. So you've experienced all these pressures to accept the female narrative in every area of life. And of course, I'm not saying that there isn't much good to come out of that. There are loads of good things that women teach people, teach men, which is why, they make up 50% of your household. But the shunning of the male influence has been detrimental to our formation as men who are capable, fulfilled, mentally stable, and who can actually do good in the world. So the movie is based around this underground fight club that Ed Norton and Brad Pitt's characters start. And while the movie itself is much more profound than simply being about fighting, the physical violence element is definitely a key component. It really speaks to that part of the male psyche that pursues conquest and dominance over another man. And it's something that we've done for tens of thousands of years now. And I believe that not being in tune with that part of ourselves is actually detrimental to who we become as people. I think not exploring that element in a safe, controlled manner can make for more volatile men, more dangerous men for society and for themselves. And it's just the worst outcome for everyone. So I myself have been pursuing kickboxing for the past 2 years, and honestly, it's changed my life and my mindset. There's nothing like the rush of stepping into a sparring session and being up against another man and knowing that there's a real chance of being hurt. And you just enter this survival mode. You enter this flow state of pure focus because your body, your well, not your life, but definitely your well-being is on the line, and you have to protect yourself while exerting dominance over the opponent. So it really makes you walk straighter in all parts of life. You just develop this confidence about yourself, and you're not really as tolerant to people's bullshit, and you're just more resilient to adversity because you've taken yourself to those uncomfortable places mentally and physically. So you know you can handle the adversity. It just gives you this ease, this aura about you that you take in stride into your life. Plus, not to mention that it's one of the best ways to bond with other men and create a brotherhood. There's nothing like hugging out your opponent after a round of hard sparring. And honestly, some of my closest friends I've developed in the last couple of years from sparring with them because we've gone to those lengths together. We've developed this new layer of connection, and it's a very wholesome thing. So honestly, if you are up for it, I highly recommend pursuing some form of martial art. And in fact, I'm going to dedicate a full video to this quite soon. And another quote that really stuck out to me is, self-improvement is masturbation. Now, self-destruction. So this to me really speaks on the necessity of letting a part of yourself die in order for the new version of yourself to come out. Maybe, and I certainly can, think of traits that you might want to kill off in your own personality that are holding you back. Perhaps you're still scared of your mother's opinions, so you don't really make your own life decisions yet. Or you're just that nice guy who's always friend zoned by girls, doesn't garner the attraction that you want from them. Or you're being taken for granted by your social circle. Maybe you're socially awkward and you haven't really made any real friends yet. So all of those things are parts of you that you can kill off if you're willing to do so, and then make space for the new version, the real Tyler Durden in you to come out. You see, much of self-improvement is about getting rid of things that aren't good before you add things that are good and constructive for the new version that you want to become. And one thing that really annoys me about today's world and the media is we're being pushed this narrative that we must always be ourselves and not be fake and just wait for someone to come and love us for who we are, right? Now, the thing is, I'm all for authenticity, but I'm also all for maxing out your stats and the traits that you want and just becoming a better version of yourself. And yeah, sure, once you've achieved all of those things, then yeah, you can be yourself because the real you is awesome. In fact, the word personality in English comes from the Latin word persona, which means mask. So here's the real mindfuck. Who are you even, right? Is this personality of the nice guy, the submissive person that you might be right now, is this really who you are? Or is there this beast, this giant in you that is waiting to come out in the shadows, but he just hasn't been given the arena to do so and to shine forth? Think about all of the desires that you have inside of you and the ambition to maybe conquer and to compete, right? All of these masculine urges that maybe you've been repressing or you've had repressed by your mother or by your teachers or by society telling you it's all wrong. So I really challenge you to question if the way you've been living so far is actually who you really are, because you might be doing yourself an injustice here. So have you seen Fight Club? And if so, what did you think of it? Let me know in the comments. And if you've never seen it, then I highly recommend you do so. Remember to like and subscribe. It massively helps the channel and it makes sure that you don't miss more videos like this. You can also join our school community and free Discord server using the links in the description, as well as booking a one-to-one coaching call with me. I'll see you in the next one.